I'm only screaming because we don't need any of that brew crew crap up here. Put that
Oh,
away.
I'm sorry. What? I didn't hear you. I was thinking about when do I want to get playoff tickets for my Brewers.
Yeah, save the hat for next year when they win the regular season again, because they're regular season champs.
Stu's going crazy.
Until next season. Until next season. I'm glad they get you all excited though. And, they get all the Brewers fans excited, then they let them down, and then you go back into next year. So,
It's
welcome to
weird.
Cubsville.
It's weird. We lose our manager to the big old Cubs to the south with all this money to throw around, and then it doesn't change anything for the Cubs, and we go back to the top. Speechless.
I've said my piece on it. I'm not going to keep going over it. It's not going to be. At the end of the season, they're going to both end up with the same placement. So,
Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to find out, right?
There's only one winner.
There's only one
And it's
winner.
not going to be them.
I
They've
can
got a
guarantee you I know one team it will not be.
the Brewers. I think the Dodgers are pretty darn good. They're going to be tough to climb over.
They really are.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
They got some young player for him that's really good. I can't think of his name right now, but I hear he's been doing a lot of great things.
For the Dodgers?
For the Dodgers, yeah.
Oh.
Some player from Japan or something.
Oh, Ohtani? He's not young. He's like 35 years old.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy. I think you got it.
He ain't no young guy. He's almost as old as me.
He's young compared to me.
He hits the ball wicked hard.
Wicked hard.
Yeah, that's the Bostonian side of things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yo, YouTube. Welcome back to another live. I've got my man Charlie Chuck here, and we've got Stuart the Goat somewhere. We got a couple of
Dueling stews, yeah.
Dueling stews. We had two. So why do we have two stews? Well, I kind of figured at some point we would need a backup stew. Right. Well, why only one? Why not both? We kind of figured we'd need a backup one. He's taking a few dives here and there, and we just thought that when the batteries die on one and it gets weird, we could do something like that. It's kind of funny because we were
he lost an ear and he just keeps on going.
Well, when he was doing that like max headroom thing, like 2 days after we were talking about that, one of my buddies, because I used to do a lot of costuming, so I still have a lot of friends that are in it. One of my buddies does a max headroom costume. He just finished it. And he was posting pictures of it. Yeah, it made me laugh my butt off. Yeah, it was great. He even has like the old tube TV that he like puts his head in and everything. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. So, so we're on here a little bit late. We got started a little bit late. We were kind of discussing what we wanted to go into tonight for topics. And we sort of started talking about one that there's a lot of arguments to both sides of it. So I think we'll probably introduce that tonight as a topic. It was kind of licensed versus unlicensed versus NIL versus custom versus rights versus violations of contracts versus what's a rookie card, what isn't. Like there's all these things that to me in the end what matters is the people who are going to buy it. If the people are going to buy custom cards, then there's going to be custom cards. If people are going to buy rookie cards from Topps only, well then Topps, that's really what the market will create itself. If there's a need in the market, it will happen, and everybody just kind of has to adjust to it. When Wildcard came back, they were not, everybody overlooked them,
Oh, sure.
Entirely. I mean, I was really excited about them. They were at the National. I had this little tiny booth. They had the space of like a single table dealer booth, and hardly anybody stopped there. I sat there for like a half a day just talking to them, and
now we can't get Dan off their website.
Right, yeah. And now Dan single-handedly capitalized them for the next 15 years. But yeah, I mean, look at how much their popularity has grown because they have a
Yeah.
great product. You get decent value, for what you're doing. They went out and did some NIL stuff, so they got some college guys, and
Yep.
uh, Beef has been doing that for years. Not to just speak about Wildcard. There's other companies that are in on this too, but you can see some growth from that, especially now that a lot of players are doing like exclusive contracts and things like that. Because that kind of wasn't heard of. The only players that really had exclusive contracts were true long-term goats, right? Like,
Yeah.
Gretzky and, Jordan and stuff like that, all those guys that signed with Upper Deck. But that was it, and pretty much everybody else you would have access to in any licensed product, especially.
Right.
That's changed. You start pulling these players out of being able to be in different products, well, guess what? There's gonna be that pent up demand that's not being met, and then somebody's gonna start doing more custom stuff and unlicensed stuff, and, because if you can get the sales and obviously, if you can get away with selling something for the same price that's unlicensed or custom, you're gonna make more money because 'cause you're not paying all those licensing fees,
Right.
and all those player contract expenses and things like that, but to me, the biggest, kind of, I guess, warning in that whole scenario is it's real easy to get involved in, uh, legal matters. Let's just
Yeah.
put it that way. I don't know how to really say it, but, um, it can be litigious, for
There
those
you go.
um, red folks out there. But you really wanna make sure that you're gonna have a product that somebody wants. So, if you can't make a fly by night card with low end quality, no licensing, no player name on it, no, like there is a limit to how much you can leave off of a card before it's never gonna have any market,
That's a
especially
good
not long
point.
term. So
I was just thinking about wild card, and I had one sitting right here, like licensed or not. That is an amazing Debbie Gibson card, isn't it?
but but see, that's licensed. They do have an agreement with the people.
With the
So
the
they
star, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So and that was kind of what I wanted, what I brought up when you and I were talking about it on our own is there's unlicensed and there's custom. Those are two totally different things in my head.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Um, so to me, custom is like just a piece of art, right? Which art
Yes,
is interpretive. You can make art of anything you want. You can take a photograph of anyone you want and sell it. um, yeah, I
and
mean
I
you
would say
you could
cards are
actually.
art.
Right. I mean, you could be sitting in the stands at a basketball game and take a big zoomed in photo of Steph Curry and go home and put it on a card. You could do that. You own
You could.
that photograph. Now, if you want to put on there Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors, left guard, or I don't even know what the hell position he plays.
Left
Um,
guards. Did you really just
I,
say left guard?
I did. Yeah. Guard, whatever. Straight up guard. But if you wanna do that and you start adding to that card over just your piece of photography, which was your art, now you're starting to, approach rights of others. And that can get kinda complicated, especially if you wanna do something to scale, where you're gonna be, someone's gonna know about you. If you make a couple of cards for your friends, I've seen people do that. They make cards for different content creators, put, you know, Brian Johnson card collector 2 on a Kaboom looking
Yep.
card and, a picture of him and give it to him. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and obviously Ryan Johnson's not gonna sue them or anything anyway, but
But he
you
could.
start making he could, but you start making and that's what I was gonna get to. You start making, like, 10,000 copies of that Ryan Johnson card and you're selling them for a profit on eBay. I would imagine eventually you're gonna get some letters and, I was telling Charlie before we got on here, I've done a lot of like logo designs and merchandising items and stuff for different Star Wars clubs, and I ran into that stuff all the time. I was constantly going to Lucasfilm for approval on things, and um, we could only make certain a number of pieces, and there's no, obviously that's not the same as the NFL or whatever. I'm sure they have a whole different set of rules and regulations, but they're gonna watch that stuff. If you make that custom card and you put NFL on it, you're screwed. You're not gonna They're gonna take all your money and then some.
Yeah.
Um, so I would just caution people from selling custom cards, making custom cards, buying custom cards. Um, because unless you really know what all the legal ramifications are in making a card, that's maybe something you don't want to get into. I've even seen that with like action figures. So there's a company that makes basically like an inaction figure is the best way to put it. So it's an action figure, but it doesn't move, right? It has no action. Um,
Yeah.
and they can make that because it's not an action figure, right? An action figure has points of articulation is the definition of it. So they're both allowed, right? And that company can make those figures even though like let's say Hasbro has the exclusive on this type of action figure. This company can make ones that don't move.
Okay.
So see what I mean? So there's different pieces where you could buy different parts of um, licensing for different things. Like maybe you can't maybe Fanatics has the license for football trading cards, but you want to make football stickers, right? Now, that's kind
It's
of a bad
different.
example because Panini has rights for that, but let's say they didn't. Let's say nobody had stickers. You could say, "Well, I want to make these, stickers of these players." Remember the Fatheads? Do you
Or
remember
My
Fatheads?
Little Pony stickers.
Might have ponies. Remember Fatheads?
Yeah. Those
Those
are cool.
giant sports figure
Yeah.
stickers?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the same thing as
Otherwise
a
known as
as
Peyton Manning.
yeah. Um, those aren't the same things as trading cards, right? So that's a different licensing, different category, different. So, you might see other products and stuff that pop up that can get some licensing. But if you're just gonna like say screw all of them, I'm gonna make whatever I want and put it out there, and it's not. They have pretty darn good lawyers looking for that stuff, and there's a lot of bucks in it, and they don't want to lose their bucks.
Yeah. I mean, on the bright side, if anyone wants to make a card of me and Stu, I only need 10% annually.
Right. Now you can go make your own trading cards. I have
Yeah.
several of my own trading cards. I don't know. Do I have one down here?
Yeah, I know
I should
the
have one
wife has
down here
one
somewhere.
too. Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Oh boy. He's on the move, ladies and gentlemen. He's on the move. That didn't take long.
Got to put my buds back in. So
Find
here's
it.
a trading card of me
Yeah.
in one of my costumes. That's me in my big Wampa costume there. You can see I got all the different logos here from all the different clubs. Um, I have the like trademark stuff down here for the Legion and the different, organizations that support it. Got my name and stuff on the back up here. Some information about me. So, there's nothing wrong with custom stuff. And obviously
Right.
Star Wars is licensed. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Licensed to death. They make too much Star Wars crap. Um, but that's something that we use. No, I don't sell these either. I don't make any money on these. We always use them just to promote our organization and hand out to kids and trade with other, you know, costumers and stuff like that. So I think if the customer market stays with that intention, of just being somebody who wants to participate in the card market and just wants to do something fun and hand stuff out, I don't think you will have any problems. But you start getting a big bunch of big makers of custom cards, yeah, they won't go quietly into the night, I don't think.
No, probably not. But it is, an interesting thought about where can the future of custom cards go? As I mean, 20 years ago, how prevalent were unlicensed cards even? Like there was no NIL, right?
Mm,
Well, at least for like some of these college and cripes, we got high school cards now.
yep.
So the market does evolve. So who knows? Maybe there'll be an opening in the future sometime.
Now, where see, to me, again, unlicensed and custom are two totally different things. And I've said for a long time that unlicensed cards are going to have a huge growth in the market. When everybody's making fun of me for it, I said that unlicensed cards are coming and there's going to be more of it. There's going to be more NIL contracts where they can circumvent players associations and leagues and things like that and just represent the person on a card. And we've
Yeah.
seen that. That's obviously grown.
So actually, unlicensed is a misnomer. It's licensed, just not by the league.
Right.
It's unlicensed
Correct.
by the league, but it's licensed by the players association or the player. Yeah.
Correct. And that's what I was trying to explain because I don't think a lot of people understand that. You can't put somebody's name and likeness on something and call it, you know, unlicensed. It's licensed. You have to pay that person for their likeness. If you're gonna make 10,000 cards of my face on a card, you're gonna pay me to do that. Like that's not gonna. You're never gonna win that case in court.
Right.
um. So,
Unless you're Napster.
oh no, Napster lost their ass in
Yeah, they
court.
didn't. They didn't
That's
win
a
either.
that's a terrible example. That guy lost everything for a period of time there. Luckily, he had a lot of IT skills, and
Right.
he was
I'm sure
you
he's
know
doing all right.
yeah, he was very valuable to other companies that were going to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Um, but that's to me that's the biggest thing. You can't unlicensed and custom are not the same, and I think they get in people's heads they cross as being the same thing, and it's you can't.
Yeah. It's really not the
Wildcard
same thing.
would Wildcard would not have been set up at the National with a giant booth selling cards with people's pictures and names on it and not having any permission to do that. There's no way.
That's
No
true.
way. You would go to your lawyer and you'd say, "Hey, can I do this? Can I start?" They'd be like, "No, what are you doing? You can't make this stuff." So you have to I think the whole goal behind it would be to get around paying the piper, right? That'd be the motivation to do it. You don't wanna have to pay the players association, you don't wanna have to pay the league, or you don't wanna have to even get an individual contract with the person.
Right.
But that's just life. If you want to make money off of something somebody else is doing, you gotta pay them.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if, you were this huge up and coming athlete and somebody's just pumping out cards of you and you didn't get anything for that? Like, why would you do that?
Right.
You're gonna sue them. You're going to sue them,
Yeah.
you
Everybody
know?
wants to cut, right?
Of course. Especially the person who's, being on the product.
Yeah.
Now, if you're like I said, you're gonna make 3 or 4 copies, "Oh, my buddy's a huge Steph Curry fan, and I make these custom Kaboom cards. I'm gonna make him a Kaboom, and I'm gonna send it to him." That's fine. There isn't even anything for them to go after you for on that. You didn't make any money on it. What would be their motivation to even, you know, cause you a problem? Let's put it that way.
Right.
There isn't. But you make 10,000 copies of that thing, you set up a website, you're promoting this thing, you're setting up at big shows and selling them where these other, companies with permission to do things that's never, 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 never gonna fly.
Right.
So like these guys in their garages making these ACEO cards and stuff like that. Nope. There's a reason that eBay shuts that stuff down and they won't let you sell them. And you
They sure
will
have a
get
hard
kicked
time
off of
policing it
eBay.
though, because they're everywhere.
Then yeah, but that's because there's 65 million cards that get listed per second. There's no way they're gonna
Yeah.
catch them all. So, but if you're doing it consistently, I guarantee you, and I actually had that happen to me. I thought I had a licensed Jordan card that I'd put up. It looked like a Proline card or something. Remember the early 90s Proline stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got a thing from them saying, "We got to take this down. This isn't a real card." And I'm like, "Well, shit, it looks decent to me." Um, a few years ago when I first started doing this, I had that happen, and I won't touch any of that stuff anymore. If I get
Yeah.
them, I'll get them in lots and stuff like that. I throw them in my, kids packs or something like that and just let them go. They're not worth the trouble of trying to circumvent the rules and the laws and the
Yeah.
especially especially if you're gonna put it on your eBay, you're trying to build a business with eBay and you put it on your eBay and risk your eBay thing for a $4 card, like, no, that's
Right.
dumb.
They
Yeah.
are real cards, though. You can feel them. You can see them. They are cards. They're real. They're just not licensed.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's move on from that. I think we've kind of I just I think there was a misconception of custom versus unlicensed and things like that, and I just kinda wanted to since I have some experience in that, I just kinda wanted to sort that out a little bit. Alright, let's see, what else is going on? So we had an eBay open today, I did not watch it today. It was my original intention to, but I went to have lunch with my daughter at school today, which I love doing that. Try to do that a few times a year, so I wasn't gonna give that one up.
Speaking of that, I was
Uh,
looking at our feed here. Which one of the two of us do you think gets outside more?
um,
Because
well,
one of us has a very tan face, and the other
well,
one
my
is
face is
creamy
actually
white.
pretty tan too, but I have the ring light. If I block the lights and stuff, you can see more
You
of it.
look so creamy white tonight.
Yeah. I have the light closer to me because normally I have it in a certain spot on my desk, but I have stuff on that
Yeah.
part of the desk right now, so I'm kinda stuck right there, but
All right. Okay.
you can see the tan lines there
I
on
see a
the
tan
watch
line from the
lines?
watch. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm out there. As much as you? No, I work in a basement, so, but yeah, so I didn't really get to watch the eBay Open at all. I know they were covering some things on trading cards and that kind of stuff, but I didn't really get into that. I did start doing a little bit of work on my second eBay store, just kind of setting up some of the shipping policies and things like that that weren't on there. Basically, just completely replicating what I have in my first store. Um, and then I picked up an item on Facebook Marketplace today. You want to see what I got?
What'd you get? Facebook Marketplace, the
Yep.
wild, wild west of selling. Look at that. Atom bomb Trump, huh?
Is it? See, that's what Bree said. I picked it up and she's like, "Is that a Trump doll?" And I'm like, no." This will come out of the box. What makes it hard to tell is he has like the little blasted thing on the coming out of his head, but you can't see it in the box.
No,
So
you
it
really
looks like
can't.
yeah. So but he comes with his little. Let's see. I got to go this way. Comes with his little detonator. He's got a little plush detonator
Okay.
over
All
here,
right. All right.
and then and I collect atom bomb stuff as you know, and then the other cool part is it has a exclusive uh trading card.
Okay.
So that was the big motivator for me because I collect cards. So I have in my arcade is like 80s and 90s themed for obvious reasons. And I
Yeah.
have my original really nice Atom Bomb card in a little frame in there. And I just kind of wanted something Atom Bomb to go with it just to make it stand out because one trading card doesn't look like a whole lot. So I thought
Yeah.
this would be cool. I'll take the plush out of the box and I don't care about boxes. I paid $10 for this thing. Who cares about the box? Um, and especially because it looks like Trump, so I gotta take it out of here. Um, so it'll be nice to just have a piece to sort of accent that and go with my Atom Bomb sticker cards.
See, I almost messaged you the other day because I was like, nah, Adam won't want this, or he already has it. But I listed this the not too long ago, like last week or something, and I was like, wonder if that's something Adam would be interested in because you kind of yelled at me last time I had some, and I didn't give you
Yeah,
a heads up. So it's the
it's not an
alternate.
Atom Bomb.
It isn't it? It's the alternate of it, right? Connor cosplay is Well, no, because Atom Bomb would be A, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Atom
All
Bomb is the
right.
first one. Blasted Billy is the B.
Blasted Billy is the B.
Yeah.
All right.
Although
So
although I kind of would like that card just because I do cosplay too, so it's kind of
well, that
fun.
was the other
Like
thing that made me think
Atom
of
Bomb
you with
doing.
it.
If you haven't sold it yet, take that sucker down. I'll trade you something for it. I still have
I'll
a
pull it down.
I still have a Bernie Brewer for you too. I keep forgetting to give it to you.
I forgot about that.
It's right here.
There it is. I like it.
He kind of looks like my little plush.
He kind of does.
So
Bigger mustache though.
yeah, a much bigger mustache. Well, Atom Bomb
All
doesn't
right.
have a mustache at all.
End listing. I got it all saved for you.
Nice, you rock. Yeah, I'll take that because I have a pretty good. Like I have the tiki, so I have the custom tiki, or not the custom. We got custom in my head now. I have the exclusive Atom Bomb tiki sticker card. It's one of my favorites.
All right.
I have some really nice ones. I have the gold ones. I have the silver ones from the earlier sets. I started buying Garbage Pail Kids when they came back in like 2012, I want to say, or 2000, maybe it was even earlier than that. 2004, I don't know. When it first came back, ironically enough, and it must have been 2004 because now that I think about it, um, when I started buying Garbage Pail Kids cards was when I started buying some sports cards again, and that's when I bought one pack and I got the LeBron James rookie card. Remember I
Nice.
told you that story?
You did, yeah.
I was buying Garbage Pail Kids at the same time. Like literally that day I bought Garbage Pail Kids and basketball cards. So
So here's why I thought this was Atom Bomb variant because the B version is Allen Bomb.
yeah, because so what they're trying to do is they're trying to show, well, this is Alan, but he's dressed as Adam, like trying to cosplay as Adam.
That sounds deep, man.
I
That's
know.
deep.
Well, that's Garbage Pail Kids, man. Their stuff is real. Like that's this is well while you're looking at that, I actually have a complete set of Series 3, so this would be 1986. That I'm just getting ready to list. So these are the ones, whoops. So it's the sticker on the front, and then this was one of the first sets where they did the comics on the back.
Okay.
So pretty cool. But just the art is amazing on these. Ragged Aggie. Look at the
Yeah,
detail on that thing.
they do a good job.
Yeah, their stuff is just straight dope. So Garbage Pail Kids, and I'm going to try to expand on those in the second store as much as I can.
They are fun to list. I will say that. I enjoy looking at them as I'm listing them.
Mm-hmm. And there's a decent market for it. There's a lot of times where I'll list them and they sell instantly, if you price
Yeah.
stuff right. So there's definitely buyers, not just the older ones. You can sell the newer stuff too.
I've got another tin of them up behind me on the shelf there somewhere. I should really get those out.
Yeah. Also, using the scanner today, and the Halloween basketball cards are finally in there.
Oh,
So I have
really?
I got like 8 packs to scan. So I've been kind of sitting on those. I mean, I listed all the webs and the candy corns, the short print hollow stuff. I did all those, of course. Yeah, here's a Kyrie Irving hollow.
Okay.
Um, but I kind of held off on some of the. It's not like basketball season. It's not a hot time to get these on or anything. So I was kind of holding off until they were in the scanner. So I
That
have to
actually reminds me, I picked up a pack of them. There it is up there. And I haven't even opened it yet. Should I open it up?
a pack of
Of the
Halloween.
Halloween basketball
Yeah,
cards.
yeah. Why
Because
wouldn't you?
tomorrow is actually my basketball listing day.
Yeah, I've done better on the basketball than I have the football, just because you actually get the parallels. Because I pulled a. Oh, that's the
Haunted Hoop.
small. Yeah, that's just the small pack, right?
It is 40 packs,
Okay.
3 cards per pack.
Yeah, I was
That's
getting.
120 cards, right?
I got the 90 packs from
Oh, did
Costco.
you?
They're the same price, and you get 90 packs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have a Costco membership, that is. But
here's how I got this. So it's kind of an interesting story as a seller. I think I mentioned last week, my brother asked me to find him a Jackson Churio rookie card, right? So I found one at the Green Bay card show last weekend, but it was a little higher than he's normally looking for. So I was like, you know what? Target's got the Topps complete sets. There's usually some value in there with the rookie variation cards. So I picked that up, and wouldn't you know it, I got a Jackson Churio rookie variation in the 5-card
nice.
pack for the variations.
Nice.
Yeah. So now I have 3 choices of different price points for him.
Nice.
And I have 700 and some cards that I have now.
Yeah. Well, at least those you can scan. Those ASG cards, they've been huge for me, but man, it took me a long time to photograph 700 cards and list them.
The interesting thing about the complete set, though, is
worth it.
It's $50, but you can pretty much make that back with the rookie variations, and then you have the rest of the set to sell, at a low price point too.
Well, that's kind of how I looked at the ASG, because even if people didn't want any of the regular cards, you get the 5 SSPs, the variation photos, and that's like Otani and Trout and all those, like, those are easy sells. And then you get the complete set exclusive rookies. So you get the Churio and the Holiday and the Merrill and who's the other guy? The non-Jackson guy. Wyatt Langford.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, that's a no. I mean, you're going to get $50-$60 out of those, 10 cards alone easily.
Well, these are a little different. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. They just call it Halloween orange, but to me it looks like a tablecloth.
It kind of does, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah. So that's the tablecloth, and then there's the green slime. So those are your 2 parallels. So you're gonna get. There's actually there's a true
I see
base
the green
card.
slime on these. You can see it oozing on there.
Yeah, this is your true base card, is the white, and then the ones with the actual green and
then
purple
it has a
borders.
border with the green slime.
Yeah, then that's your green slime.
Ah, okay.
And then there's 2 different hollows. There's the Webb's hollows, which are personally my favorite, and then there's the candy corn hollows.
So you got some of the hollows?
Yeah, I got in this last pack, I got 2 of the Webbs. So I got Kyrie Irving here, you can see.
Nice.
So it's got like a spider web border to it. It's all hollow. And then I also got a Chai Agbaji.
Okay.
And then I got a candy corn Sam Merrill. So the candy ones are the hardest to hit. But remember, I also bought the 90 card packs, or the 90 pack.
Yeah.
The 90 pack box. You got the 40 pack, so you're probably only going to get 1 hollow. But you do much better in these than you do the football. The big key to this is you get the Wembanyama rookies. There's 2 different rookies. There's the regular rookie, and then there's like a what does it say? Spotlight Stars or something like that. I can find one quick.
Okay.
This one, Rising Stars. This isn't Wembanyama, but this is the type of card. So it's got the little NBA
excuse me
logo there, and it says Rising Stars with Panini, and then it'll still have a rookie logo on it.
Okay.
So there's that, and then just the regular, Wembanyama.
Yeah, it did call those out, I think. So look for these randomly inserted base haunted hoops orange, slime, hollow webs, hollow candy, base rising stars orange, and then all the same variations for rising stars.
Yeah, people don't like the rising stars as much, so you actually want the base Wembanyamas.
Yeah.
I mean, you want the variations, but you want the variations on the base design,
not
the rising
both.
stars. Right. Yeah, I've done pretty well. I mean, I generally get 2 to 3 Wembanyamas per pack. Again, I'm opening 90 pack boxes, but I've opened a few and I've gotten some pretty good Wembanyamas. But 2 of my Webbs cards, one was Nikola Jokic and the other one was Stephen Curry.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, I got like 120 for my Curry, and I got like 70 or 80 for my Jokic. So, I mean, I made money on all my packs just on those two cards that I sold.
There's a Kevin Durant. So this is interesting compared to the football though, because football you had a chance at some numbered cards. I didn't see anything about numbered cards in these.
No, as far as I know, there aren't numbered cards,
Yeah.
or they're extremely rare if there is.
Well,
But
you'd think they would advertise
it's a
for them
fun
on the
rip.
odds.
Yeah, I did get a 120 pack, Pokemon pack too to rip.
You did.
So yeah, yeah, dude, it's $29 or something at Costco for
There's a
120
slime.
packs.
Got a
Yeah,
slime.
that's a slime. And that because I went to after the card show, I went to Costco and I bought one of the Star Wars Chrome Costco packs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard of those at all, but um, those were pretty good. Hang on, I got to show you this because it's pretty cool what comes in them.
Oh, so you already opened it up, huh? Star Wars Chrome.
Okay, so you know those baseball like mega boxes or whatever you call them, where it's the
Yeah.
cellophane box where it's got all the packs and then like a giant pack and it comes with like a pin or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they did a Star Wars Costco box like that, and look, you get this giant die cut card. But no, wait, just hold on, it gets better. Check this out. You ready for this?
Okay. What? It's like a Harrison Ford fathead. That's amazing. And it's
Yeah.
got a hollow foil on it.
Yep, it's a refractor. Topps doesn't bother with this hollow foil
Yeah,
crap.
yeah,
We
yeah,
gotta get rid of this panini crap
yeah.
and get back to refractors. But yeah, and then it's got this on the back. There's 10 different ones. The little tab on top is so you can hang it on your tree.
Exactly.
You can hang it as an ornament.
And
So I
why
got that
wouldn't
one.
you?
Yeah, precisely. But there's exclusive Costco cards, like a Costco design and things like that. So we went and got a couple packs of those. Here's the other one that I got. All right, you ready for this one? Should I do a slow roll on this one too?
Let's do it. It's like shooting whatever in Beggar's Canyon.
Yeah, Womp Rats.
I wanted to say wombats, but that was when they parked on the asteroid.
Right.
Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Very nice.
No, I didn't get probably the two best characters. I would think Leia would do really well. Vader would do well. Boba Fett would do really well.
What about Yoda?
I don't know if he's in it. I actually don't know what 10 characters are in it. I'm
Maybe
kind of
he
making
wouldn't
an
sign
assumption,
with
I
them.
guess. I would assume Boba Fett he's on the cover, but
Right.
but I did really well in my packs. I didn't get any numbered stuff. I really want some negative refractors. I love those, the ice ones, and they go negative.
Okay.
They have a negative number. They did that in baseball too.
Yeah, I
But
haven't gotten one yet.
yeah, they're extremely rare and very
Yeah.
valuable. But I got a two refractor Boba Fett's. I got a really cool galactic gear insert Boba Fett card where it goes over like all of his components of his costume and stuff,
Okay.
which is kind
That'd
of
be
neat.
cool.
As a costumer, that was cool for me. I got a refractor Mandalorian, refractor Wicket. Like there's a bunch of decent stuff in there. Sold some of them already. Oh, I got a refractor Cassian Andor, and that was one of the Costco pack exclusive, so it was a little bit different design too. That one sold like instantly. Probably didn't price it enough. I don't know.
I wouldn't think there was a big market for Cassian Andor.
He has his own show, dude.
Yeah, but it's lame.
He has his own show. That's kind of all it takes. Somebody likes it.
Yeah.
I just sold a Sky Moore rookie. Some Rasheed Rice. Remember those, did I show you those Trinity rookies that I bought? The Leaf Trinity ones out of that dime box this weekend? No, I think I was showing
I don't
Ethan.
think so. It doesn't sound
I found a
familiar.
Rasheed Rice rookie in there, and I'm like, hell yeah, for a dime. Sold that thing already.
Is it Rashi or Reishi? I hear it both ways. Even
I
on
don't know.
TV, I hear it different ways.
I pulled an auto of his in one of my wild card boxes last year, and I had no idea who he was. So I just sold it, and then I'm like, oh crap. And then
He's
he went
making
to
moves on the liquidity list.
then he was gonna go to prison, and I'm like, oh sweet, I'm glad I sold it. No, oh crap. But
Yeah.
you can find his stuff. People don't really know. So I found some
Right.
Xavier Worthy rookies in that dime box. Like that dime box is killer.
Man, Xavier Worthy is out of this world right now.
Yeah. Well, I found Mahomes optic base cards for 10 cents. Like how can you go wrong? And I paid
Yeah.
like 5 cents, of course, because I got my giant box for $10.
Yeah.
So I got them really cheap. Love those kinds of deals. All right, should we get to some chat?
We should. We're 40 minutes in,
Let's see
41
if we
minutes
can.
in.
We are. We don't have a lot of chat here tonight though. You guys help us out here. Tell us what you think about. We just talked on some hot button subjects and nobody's weighing in. That's crazy.
Or tell us about the eBay Open because I couldn't find anything recapping the day yet.
Yeah, I sometimes I'll watch it after. I think it's like the day after. It's kind of a Hulu type thing where you can't watch it
Yeah,
right
but I
away.
thought people might be talking about it. I thought there might be a little buzz somewhere. I heard rumors of maybe they were going to take away seller fees for the fourth quarter or something. I haven't heard anything about that.
So,
Is that the mustache game? Is that what you're playing? You're like Pete Vukovich right now.
I have two things that I want eBay to do to stay tops in the sports cars or trading cards secondary market. One is eliminate listing limits. Just let us list as many cards as we possibly can. I've said this a million times. I don't understand it. And now
Anarchy.
there's more and more platforms now that are like, I don't care, list as many cards as you want. And that's going to hold them back, especially as, oh, nice. You got a slime. That's a good one.
Wemby slime, yeah.
Yeah. I got a slime in my first one. I think I didn't sell it, but I was getting offers of like 60 some on it. $60 because the slimes
Really?
are pretty rare. You only get and again, I'm basing this off the big pack, but I think you only get like 15 or 20 slimes in the whole thing. So
That'll
they're
be
only like
listed tomorrow.
they're like 1 in 5 packs, and then of course the odds of getting a Wembanyama slime is,
Right.
not as good. So yeah, you made your money back with that one card. You can stop now. And that's what's great. That's what's great about the Halloween packs. And the Pokemon's even better because it's super easy to scan those.
Yeah, I suppose.
The hollows don't show up as great, but it really doesn't matter because they're just the Halloween cards. All right. Joe is here. Good evening. He says good evening to you as well. Thanks for joining us. Dan is here. Evening, everyone. It's that time again for the greatest goat show on YouTube. We might be the only goat show on. Wait a second. There might be some really weird goat shows on.
Yeah, there might be some inappropriate goat shows.
Yeah, some dark web goat shows. Hey yo, hope everyone is doing good. I'm back. Last week Wednesday was a very interesting day to learn about some seeds. Sales have been good. Awesome. Good to hear. Glad to hear it, Brian. Did someone say wild card? There's Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you hit a decent card in your wild card box. I can't remember who it was. Wasn't Xavier Worthy though.
Yeah, who was that?
I don't remember now. I remember looking at it going, oh, that's a decent one.
Yeah, I see his stuff right now.
As far as wild card goes, you kind of have to hit the quarterbacks to really make money on them though.
Well, he got a Malik Neighbors auto.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, because So unlicensed is always going to get less money than the licensed when on resale, obviously. So if a Malik neighbor's licensed auto is going for, I don't know what, 50, $60 probably, you're going to get like 30, 25, $30, on a wild
Yeah.
card one. Not that that's bad. I mean, and especially because he's not a quarterback. If he was, a top draft quarterback, like I pulled an Anthony Richardson out of 5 auto last year out of a wild card box. You know, the numbering on it is honestly not that significant because nobody's looking for like low numbered wild card cards. Um, but if you had an Anthony Richardson, let's just say maybe a parallel auto, let's say that as opposed to like numbered out of 5 because it's really not that um, crucial, for the numbering. But if let's say it's a Panini silver or a Prism silver auto, Anthony Richardson, maybe that goes for, I don't know, $700 or something like that. You can figure you're going to get like 2 to 250 on a wild card auto out of, even though it's out of 5. So yeah, comparisons on those is a little tough. You got to make sure you got to understand you're going to take your hit on it. But a box of Prism football is also $1,500, and you're not going to get an Anthony Richardson auto out of it, and not a silver either. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you're still you're playing the game better, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You're not getting quite as much return, but you're not really comparing apples to apples when you're looking at that either because your investment is so much different.
That's a good point.
Max says Charlie's been relegated to a closet
Yep.
tonight.
So
Charlie's
so
back in the
Mrs.
closet.
JC3 decided that she had enough of everything out just out in the open in my card room. And so my media desk has always been here, my creator desk, whatever you want to call it. And I usually have these curtains closed. And the reason for that is that was actually a closet piled up high with kids' toys. So she
Mhm.
emptied all of that out. So now I can start moving all my card stuff in there. And it's not done. It's a work in progress right now, but I have carte blanche to remodel some stuff in there if I want. Put a little lighting in there, filled up, a couple of the shelves. It has been nice because actually, right next to me, right here, I have my photo box. And when I don't have the scanner, I've actually been using it again because I don't have to pull it out, put it on a table. It's right there, right next to me, always ready to go. So
Nice.
if you look any of my new listings, you'll see a lot more stuff on card stands in the photo box because it's convenient now.
Mhm. Well, that's good if it helps you be efficient with your business.
Yeah, it's been really nice.
So I
So that'll
literally
continue to evolve.
I just got a notification for a sale, and you'll never believe what it was.
Hold it still. Star Wars Chrome,
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Yeah, the Boba Fett
Yeah.
refractor. I was literally
Okay.
just talking about it and it just sold. So, and then I can show you that Rasheed Rice. Actually, here, I can probably show you a better. I have a giant phone. I don't know why I don't open it more. There's the Boba Fett.
Okay. Nice.
So you can see the border design is a little different because you open some of the tops.
Yeah.
But the border design is a little different in the Costco packs. And that's what I liked about it. I thought that made them cool. And then here's the Rishi Rice. I literally just picked this up in a dime box. I sold it for $5.
Okay.
It was Leaf Trinity last year. There's my banner.
Look at that.
Yeah. So anyway, so the way I look at this is Charlie is a closet Cubs fan. Um, so he's finally been relegated to actually being in the closet. So if he wants to come back out of the closet, this is what we all have to do. Okay. In order for us to get Charlie out of the closet, he has to come out and publicly admit he's a Cubs fan.
I heard they make a special
So
penicillin variant for that. Being a Cubs fan.
yeah, it's the highlight of everyone's, sports fan careers to become a Cubs fan.
The highlights.
They have 2 World Series championships, by the way.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And they didn't cheat to get them.
They did not cheat to get them. In
I don't
fact,
know why I felt the
they
need to put
probably
a dig on the Astros all of a sudden.
they Oh, no, you can always dig on the Astros, I'm cool with that. Not a big fan of cheating, especially getting away with it. Like, if you cheat and you got caught and you're like, "Ah, dude, I got caught. Okay, fine, I'll take my suspension," Ryan Braun, whatever, fine. I don't care. You do your time, you come back, whatever, all's fair in love and war, and as long as you're not cheating again, I'm cool with second chances, but that they just looked the other way. They gave him the freaking let him keep the World Series championship. It's a
Right.
joke. It's a joke. There's a reason that a lot of people hate baseball, and that's part of it. The cheaters never really get punished.
Everybody cheats.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's the
I think
argument,
there's
though.
I think everybody tries to use everything they can to their advantage, and sometimes that gets really borderline cheating, not cheating. Like, dude, sending the signals from the other team through a closed circuit television system and then using garbage like, dude, they were cheating. Like, that's
Yeah.
there how do you question that that's cheating or not? That's straight up cheating. You know, and people can argue with the Patriots, "Oh, Deflategate," or not. They let some air out of the ball, and they were pushing the limit to what they could do to give themselves an advantage. The other team was still playing with the same ball. So I don't know that that's really a cheat. They were just trying to. This is how much air has to be in the ball. Okay, well, let's see how far we can push it down before like it's not legal to play.
They
That
found
that
out.
stuff happens. Like those, all the pitchers rub something onto the ball. Now, it better not be the banned substances, but yeah, you lick your finger a little bit and get a tad bit of grease on there that you're really not supposed to. That's fine. I think everybody kind of, oh, you have to stand all the way in the box. How many of those guys are on that freaking line? Just barely in, approaching the plates and stuff. And whatever.
That's that reminds me of the new NFL enforcement this year with the tackles, being on the line of scrimmage and not being so
Yeah.
far back that we saw like 12 penalties for it in the first week.
Yeah, I mean, there were some teams, like, 4 plays in a row they got penalized, and
Yeah.
it's like, how do you
Yeah.
just move up to the ball, you moron? It's not that
Right.
hard.
We even got called for it in a high school game the other night. A freshman
Uh,
high school game. They called that.
if
Ref
that's the
came over,
rule,
was
that's
like,
the
"Coach,
rule.
he's got to have his helmet at least up to the belt line of the center." I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, somebody wants to make it to the big time in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it's probably better, though, for your kids, so at least they have the rules down now, if they do go somewhere in the sport, at least they're not trying to relearn the rules all the time.
Yeah,
One
at
of
the
the things
same time, though, one of our receivers got grabbed by the back of the shoulder pads and they jerked his jersey halfway down his back and they didn't call a horse collar. And the
mm,
referee told us it's because, by his interpretation, the body has to be yanked back and he didn't get yanked back, so he didn't throw the flag.
yeah, that
So
and that's an injury type call. Injury calls should always be called,
they should.
exercise
I agree.
caution. So, because there's like European soccer when I played in Europe, the rules are very different than they are in the United States, and it was tough to make some of those adjustments. Um, in some ways, it was a lot better for my game because I was a more aggressive player and I was a little bit bigger size, so it always looked like I was banging people off the ball, but I was bigger than the other guy. I
Yeah.
was gonna win on those 50-50 balls or what we call hospital balls. Um, I
Why do
won a
you
lot
call
of
them
the
hospital balls?
because it's 2 guys running for the ball at the same time, and one of you is gonna go to the hospital.
Yeah.
But that played into my game, a more aggressive style, but then there's other things like in America, you can come out of the game and then go back into the game, get yourself resubstituted in. In European football, that's not a thing. If you come out of the game, you're done. So if you're important and need to be in that game, You gotta have all that, stamina built to be able to handle
Yeah.
that, and it's just different. The size of the fields is different, like, there's so many things, it's like, wow, Americans we just take everything and screw with it. We can't take something that's really awesome and just put it here and do it. We gotta change the measurement system, we gotta change, what side of the road we drive on. We can't do a damn thing the same as anybody else, and
Nope.
the same held true with soccer, so you can't even call it the same sport. We had to change the name of the sport. And then we have football, which is played with your hands, which is makes
We
no
showed
sense.
them.
So, yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, we look like the smart guys, don't we? Troy is here, he says, "Good evening." I don't know if I got to Joe, but Joe says, "Good evening." Hello, Joe. Bo says, "You didn't miss anything. eBay Open is all fluff and no substance." Yeah, I can believe that. Substance, he spelled it wrong. I took the plunge and started selling on ColX, 63 sales in the first 4 days. Not bad. Not bad. I watched your video on that. I saw that you were starting to do some things on there, so I'm glad you're having some success with it. I just sold the Jaden Daniels Halloween card through auction tonight for 550. I bought it for $29. You bought the Jaden Daniels card alone for $29? I'm guessing you mean you bought the entire pack. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Bought a 40 pack for 29.
yeah,
Yeah, I
there we
sold
go. That sounds more like it.
last night I sold most of my Jaden Daniels Halloween cards too, so,
Yeah, you had a good week.
um, yeah, he did. And I'll take the money on that because I don't see the Commanders being some sort of dominant team in the league this year, so get that money, we can get that money. Charlie, are you drinking a Barks root beer?
I wish I was. I like Bart's root beer. It's got a nice
Heck
bite
yeah.
to it. Just a classic Diet Pepsi tonight.
Diet Pepsi. I have, Cherry RC again. I'm still on a Cherry RC kick.
That does
It's
sound
so
good.
darn good. 18 packs for $5.50 at Walmart.
Nice.
A heck of a deal for a better product. That's right, Coke and Pepsi fans, I said it. RC is superior. I heard Yoda wasn't offered enough NIL money. That would probably be true. Um, uh, enough money you don't have, right? That's
Yeah,
how he would say it.
it sounds right.
Enough money. Enough money you don't give me. Um, yeah, I think, I NIL is gonna get kinda weird, I think, because 'cause they're gonna keep trying to grab these players younger and younger and younger and younger, and I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing. Um,
Some
and
of
can
it's
some of these kids
weird.
even enter? Huh?
Some of it even seems weird, like when
Yeah,
you see
like
some of these.
high school quarterbacks and that, yeah. I mean, um, they have to be 18 to enter in a contract, right? So you can't really get them any younger than that unless they're going after
Their
parents, and
yeah, their parents
that's a
can.
whole other mm, that's not good. So I don't know. We'll see how far they take it. Is it, "Oh, geez, Peyton Manning just had a baby. Do we sign his baby to an NIL contract right away?" Because he's
Maybe.
probably gonna be good at the ball of foot. Um, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
Arch was signed before he was 18, wasn't he?
I don't not NIL. I think he was 18. He got signed his senior year, last year, because he's in college
Okay.
now.
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
college now.
Mhm. But I don't know. I'd be kinda mad if I was, like, a sophomore in high school and my parents signed an NIL deal for me,
And then didn't share it
you
with
know?
you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and honestly, that's not a good thing for a kid that age to be making a decision on anyway. I do agree with college kids, and college athletes and personalities being able to be paid. They're adults. They should get paid if people are using their images. Uh, but I think kids in high school need to do high school. Do high school and then worry about your NIL contracts and all that once you get to, a point where you I don't know. I don't like pushing children into adulthood much faster than they need to be.
Like, what about the
Once he
Ball
signed
brothers? They might have been signed in high school with their dad.
but they were probably 18 though. I mean, LeBron
That's
was, well, LeBron, it was illegal then, but LeBron was getting stuff his senior year of high school. Remember when that company gave him the Hummer? And he's like, "Oh no, they gave it to my mom." And they're like, "Yeah, okay." And you're just driving it around, and because back
yeah,
then you couldn't make deals like that. You had to be a professional athlete, which I don't agree with. If you're 18 and someone comes to you and says, "Hey, Charlie, we like what you're doing. We want to put you on some football cards. We'll give you $1 million for it. Sign here." That's up to you. No college should get to say whether or not you can do that. And the freaking college is making money off these players anyway. So, that's kind of a joke too. "Oh, we give them free tuition." Well, it's not anywhere near what, you know,
yeah,
Texas is making off of, Manning playing all those football games there. So
right, right.
that's a joke. That's a sham. Colleges overcharge anyway, but that's a whole other conversation. The gentleman who runs Hobby Evolution will recap it tomorrow morning. That's Bo. We were literally just talking to him on here. Um, yeah, I've been to, and I kind of said this in the Discord. By the way, if you're not on our Discord, we have a link in our little banners, screen there. Scrolling across that has a link to our Discord. That was a really long roundabout way to
That
tell you to
was.
click on the link below. I was trying to get there. I couldn't get there. This is live, folks. But the join the Discord because we get a lot of stuff on there and we talk about some of the eBay Open stuff and things that come up. And apparently, Bo and I were mentioned on the eBay Open, which is kind of interesting. So I guess I would like to at least see what the reference was. Are we good? Are we bad? Um, you know, just said, oh, they talked about you. Well, I don't know what that means. But anyway, uh, yeah, I've been in a few of them too, and my review is kind of the same as Bo's on this. It's just a lot of stuff that doesn't really apply to what I'm doing, and the things that they kind of do talk about that does apply to what I'm doing is not new information. So, um, I don't really spend much time on it. I have so much to do in a day that just doesn't really climb to the top of the list.
Yeah.
All right. Lions fan 9 has joined us. I think this is his first time here. What's up? Usually don't get a chance to pop in, but I had a question for you about shipping thicker cards like jerseys. Do you even try to sell them off via ESE? If so, how would you ship one? I actually
Heck
just
yeah.
bought some jersey cards this past weekend, which I don't normally do, but they were in a quarter box. So Nomar Garciaparra game used jersey cards for a quarter. I will buy those.
Yeah.
I try to stay to the thinner jersey cards, if that makes sense. I don't have any out here right now. I just got them listed and I already put them in the drawer, but um, I try to stick to the thinner ones because essentially you can just put them in a card saver and ship them. They're really
Right.
no different. I also try to stick with ones that don't have like a giant flimsy window where the memorabilia is, or where the window is way close to the edge where it could get creased or ripped or something like that. So it sounds weird, but I actually look at like the construction and the thickness of the card to
Yeah.
determine whether or not I'm going to buy it. Now, if it's a Tom Brady game used jersey card, that's something different. But if you're talking like kind of a no namer, you're just buying it out of a value box, and you figure you can catch somebody that would want it. The other thing you can do is like if they are thicker or it is a bigger window or a bigger name player or something like that, just don't do it as eBay standard envelope. That's what I would do with those.
Yeah.
Then you just flat out have to charge the shipping. If you still want to do free shipping, then you just up the price of the card to help you cover a non-standard envelope shipping. That's how I've done it, and it's worked well for me. I've sold a bunch of jersey cards. I don't do a ton of them. It's not really my favorite thing, especially modern ones. They're not game used and all that.
Yeah.
They're napkins. No one cares about them. There's really no market for it. But those late '90s to late 2000s ones are pretty good. There's some decent ones in there. You can get like laundry tags in like random jersey cards, which now if you got a laundry tag in a card, it would be a huge deal. I have a Favre card where it's numbered out of 200. No, was it? It's not that high. It's like 75, maybe numbered out of 75. But they literally just took a jersey and cut it into a bunch of pieces and put
Yeah.
random pieces in the cards, put a serial number on it and threw them out there. So I have one where it's got the piece of the laundry tag where it says made to exact specifications for this player, blah blah blah. So you know it's like a real. That's what the on-field jerseys say on them. They have a special label stitched into them, and that's was literally in a box the same way a piece of green napkin from the jersey is in it. So um, if I found something like that, for in a 50-cent box or whatever, or even in a more expensive box, but it's a laundry tag or part of the NFL shield or something like that, um, it's worth your effort to do that. But those are probably cards like that are probably going to go over $20 anyway, and the standard envelope won't even apply. So I think you're referring to like value box memorabilia cards, and yeah, I just try to stick with the thinner ones. If I need to send it ESE to get a sale, like if you're only going to sell for $4 or $5, it has to go to ES. It
Right.
goes standard envelope, or you're just going to be out money. So you need
Right.
to make sure. But remember, you can fit 5 to 6 cards in a card saver,
And you get
uh,
a quarter inch to
in
play with.
sleeves. Yeah, in sleeves. So you can fit like 5, 6 regular sized cards sleeved in a card saver to ship ESC 1 ounce. So as long as your jersey card is not thicker than 6 cards, you can send it that way.
There's a quarter inch right there. It's bigger than you
Yeah,
think.
bigger than you think.
Yeah.
Woo!
It's no, but seriously,
Welcome to the Goat
so
Show, everybody.
if I put that there, so what did let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are 5 of those slime cards. Now those are thin, but those aren't even close when you look at that. Okay?
No,
Not even close. If I take 3 of these packs, do we get to it then? Let me see if I can get it. Still not there,
closer,
right?
closer.
Still not
Well,
even
but if
close.
you're gonna put it in a holder, you gotta add some for that too. So if you were to take those 3 packs and put them in a card saver, you'd probably be there.
Yes, yes, in a card saver you would be there. But the point is, you have quite a bit of room to play with in there. The only
Yeah.
time I really run into an issue not being able to send eBay standard envelope is like those manufactured relics and stuff. Like
Yeah, the ones that
a
are
couple
real
years ago,
quick.
Topps did those batting helmet ones that were super
Mhm.
thick and rigid, and but gosh, memorabilia cards like jersey cards and pant swatches and stuff. I send all of that eBay standard envelope in a card saver.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, if it's something thicker and you have enough value in it, then you're gonna have to raise the price to cover a package shipping. And the buyer should know that too. If like Charlie said, if it's a chunk of helmet and it's this thick, well, it's not gonna go in an envelope.
Yeah,
Just won't. If you are selling slabbed cards, you can't put that in an envelope. It's got to go in a padded envelope. So
yeah.
you can still sell those cards. You just need a price in you know, that cost. Make the buyer pay for everything in one way or another. Either up the price of the card to cover that shipping or add a shipping cost. It's up to you.
The other thing I do if I do get close to that thickness gauge is I try to center the card vertically so that both ends of the envelope can wrap around it. Or that's one of the uses I found where I like to use those eBay 3-pocket envelopes. And I just slide it in the center pocket, send it on out.
There you go. I don't use any of that stuff. I just use a number 10 envelope and I stick it all the way to one side of the envelope. That way the envelope can still bend in half because that's what my post office told me to do. So probably your best bet if you have questions on, well, I've got this type of card, how can I ship it? Go talk to the people who are actually going to pass it along because if they bust it when you try to mail it, a bust it meaning they won't ship it the way you sent it, then all of our conversations are null. they're the ones that matter. As soon as it gets through them and they'll scan it and it gets into the mail system, you're good to go. So talk with your wherever your sorting, postal sorting people are and find out what they want you to do. And my suggestion would be to heed their advice because it's worked out much better for me. Just trying to do it the way they want to do it. It's not costing me anymore. I'm still getting it through with a stamp and and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just trying to package it and you know frame it out the way that they want it in order to get it through the mail system. Let's see. Joe says, "Lot of fluff." Oh, that was weird. My mic just slipped down. A lot of fluff at eBay Open. One of the breakout room card talk speakers gave a shout out to Bo and this channel. Oh, cool. That's awesome. I wonder who it was. It'd be nice if they contacted me if they were going to talk about me. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Hopefully they said good things, nice things at least. Dan says, yeah, sold the 101. Oh, it was a 101. Okay, well that's a little different. That does matter over like out of 5. And you got 129. That sounds about right because I bet like a regular auto for his um is probably like 60, $70, and then you get the 101. So that makes sense. And he is kind of hot right now, so that probably
right now for sure.
Yeah. Rookie, hot right now, early part of the season. There's some buzz, so it was a
not
good
a
time to get
quarterback.
it. Yeah, not a quarterback. It was a good time to get it, and it was a good time to sell it. So you did well. Because there's a lot of people that'd be like, "Oh, he's big right now. It's one of one. I want $1,000 for it." Well, like, I don't know, man, and I don't know how long he's gonna hold on, for bigger money, especially as more cards of his come out too.
I see a bunch of Leaf autos for him that are going for $45.
I'm sorry.
There's a
L-
bunch of
Leaf.
non-numbered Leaf autos that are going for
Yeah.
45. I
Yep.
do
That's
see
about what I figured what a regular wild card auto would be, would $50 or so.
a wild card one of one gold auto for 154 that sold.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, if you're getting one of ones, that does have some jump, obviously. Because anybody who wants, if there's more than one person that wants that Malik Neighbors card, you're going to get more money because they're going to have to bid against each other. So
The out of 5 went for 108.
yeah, and that's
Yeah,
probably a tad high.
he's definitely hot right
Uh-huh.
now, though.
Yeah, yeah, sell those cards when you got them for sure. There was a TCG player Q&A discussion this morning that was kind of interesting, but attendees didn't have many good questions for them. Well, and that's part of it. If they don't get an audience participation, you're probably not going to have like. Can you imagine how crappy this show would be if you guys weren't on here? It'd be terrible. You'd have to listen to me and Charlie bicker over Cubs and Brewers, and yeah, goats screaming all the time, and it wouldn't be good at all. You'd have to listen to me, and I get long and drawn out, so yeah, you don't want that. Get green curtains back there, Charlie, and you can make all sorts of background images like weather maps. Oh, that
Yeah,
wouldn't be distracting at all having a moving weather map behind you.
I do have a green screen, and I just hang it up there when I do some recording.
Well, there
They're
you
picky
go.
though. They're kind of touchy to get dialed in, I find.
Well, and the other thing is as if you're moving, if you're the image in front of it, that kind of can screw it up too. Or depending on what
Yeah.
clothing you wear, if you wear anything with green
Yep.
in it, you disappear and yeah. Let's see. You put snot on the ball. Yeah, something like that.
Snot, Vaseline, whatever I need.
I don't myself. I have nothing to do with baseball, but I'm guessing that type of thing happens pretty regularly. All right. Bill says he picked up some all-star fights yesterday. Hopefully I'm not too late to the party. I don't know what all-star fights is, do you?
I think he meant something else.
Okay. Oh, sets. Sets. Picked up some all-star sets yesterday. Hopefully not too late to the party. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have a couple yet to list. I just wanted to make sure I got my initial ones up. So there's if anybody wants to do this, it's actually really annoying because yes, you can scan them in, and Car Dealer Pro does have them in there, but they look like crap. So I would suggest you don't do that. It's going to be harder for you to get sales, especially now that there's more people selling them. Um, the other thing is the sets come completely out of order. So when you go to sell them and stuff, unless you're bagging them or whatever, I don't bother with that when I have sets. I just leave the cards in the set, and then I just, when a card sells, I pull the number out. So I had to sort them all by number, and get them in the right number order so they were easily able to pull out. It's 700 cards per set, so it's a ton of them. Um, so it's actually a good chunk of work. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go buy one set and list them because the amount of money you'd make on it, it's going to take your work to do that. If you're doing like 3, 4, or 5 sets, it's not so bad because you kind of only have to do it once, and then it covers all the sets that you bought. Um, Other than the sorting, you have to sort every single box set, but um, yeah, it's been fun. I don't normally buy a lot of baseball stuff, so I'm always excited each year when I can find something that I can get a big bulk, get some of the big rookies, that kind of thing, parallels, whatever. So this totally hit the chord for what I needed for baseball cards this year, and a heck of a good value. There's really been really good returns on it. But yeah, I would imagine those returns will diminish some as more and more people list them too. So, uh, I don't know that you're late to the game, like too late to the game, but you're a little bit later to the game. So that might affect your sales a little bit. Let's see. RC superior to Pepsi. Yeah, boy. You heard it. Oof, that's the second worst take I've ever heard from a YouTuber, and both were this week. You're welcome. You are welcome. Not even necessarily RC itself, but Cherry RC. They do Cherry straight up right, buddy. It's so good. Way better than Cherry Pepsi for sure. Isn't Yoda like 200 years old? Well, actually Yoda's dead. Um, but yes, he was a couple hundred years old when wasn't he? He was older than that, wasn't he? I can't
I
remember how
think
old he
so.
was.
Thought he was
Because
over 800.
he says to Luke in the movie, like, "Oh, when 500 years old you are, let's see how you look." Um, Yoda was 900 years old when he died.
There you go.
900. Yeah. What did he? How did he say that? Okay. But yeah, basically he says something to the effect of, oh, when 900 years old you are, let's see how you look, or let's see how you are, or something to that effect. So yeah, he basically states even in the movie how old he is. So it's definitely canon. What do you think of Jeff Wilson and the others who I believe are toxic to the hobby? This is Andrew McGovern. Welcome, Andrew. You guys are doing it right and are truthful. My nephews are influenced by some of these influencers. I think the intentions are good, but I also think they're trying to do it for a business and to make a living off of it. I do YouTube when I can. It's not really like my source of income. It's not my drive for what I do. Those guys weren't selling cards; they were just creating content. Now they're selling cards. They're opening card shops. Why not?
Yeah.
Um, but it's up to you. If you decide that their content's not for you, don't watch it. That's the way I look at stuff like that. If somebody doesn't like my channel, don't watch it. That's the beauty of the modern content world. When we were kids, if you wanted to watch something at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday, you were forced to watch whatever was on the channel at that time. That was it. You didn't really, right now, like if you don't like a certain influencer, you don't like a certain channel, you don't want. I have to do that with my kid. It's actually really difficult to be a parent these days because there's so much in front of them. I mean, she can watch like people being murdered live on a video. Like that wasn't even something I could fathom when I was a kid. Um, bad language, there's just so much stuff out there right now. Um, so it's kind of the same thing, if you've got kids and you don't want to watching those influencers, or you think, our content would have a better value to them, talk to them about it, and say, "Hey, check these guys out. They're not as flashy. They don't have as big a budget. They don't have fancy camera equipment, but they're telling you the real. You want to be in this hobby. You want to get some money in this. You want to invest in this. You want to look at real ways to participate. On a side hustle or business side of the hobby. Help direct them a little bit. But I appreciate your excuse me. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you for the compliments. We try to be transparent. We try to be real. I'm just a small dude just trying to make my way, pay my bills and build a business for my future. And I'm trying to do it as in the most honest, you know, creative way that I can. Um,
Yeah.
and that's what
We
I try to focus on.
we take different paths than a lot of those influencers, so it's not apples to apples. Um, there are That's one thing we always talk about. There are many different ways to enjoy this hobby and make a living from it, right? So
Mhm.
they typically are out there spending thousands of dollars on a single transaction and card. We'll go out there and spend hundreds of dollars on thousands of cards at once. So it's just a
We buy
different way to
Halloween
go
trick or
about it.
treat cards. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and
Different
it's
approach.
there's some speculation and gambling on both sides, right? Like they look at it as investing. I want this hot rookie because I bet you in 5 years his value is going to be up, even though the odds aren't really with him on that. We do kind of the same thing in that, oh, well, I'm going to grab this card out of this dollar box because I think I can flip it for $2 or something. Doesn't always pan out, but
Uh,
you kind of perfect your craft, and we deal in much less risk in what we do. So it makes it much more accessible to the masses, right? Like, not everybody has, 100 grand in their bank account from grandpa and grandma to start, doing that kind of stuff. But you can probably find 50 to $100 to go to a card show, right? So, and then make some smaller investments from that.
Yeah, I've always looked at, and the reason I started this channel back in the day, I've kind of pointed this out quite a few times in the past, but I look more on value than I do prospecting or a future value. So I go to a box and I see like that Rashi rice. We were just or Rashi rice, and now you got me thinking, am I saying the
Rishi,
damn thing wrong?
Rishi,
Reishi.
Rashi.
Um, but I found that in a dime box. I knew right away today I could sell that for 3 to $4, that I would have a buyer for that. I don't care who he is 10 years from now. I don't care if he ends up going to prison for his, you know, things he was participating in. Doesn't matter to me. I know that I can buy it for 10 cents today, sell it for $3 tomorrow, and then move on to the next cards that I find in value. So to me, it was more value buying. So think of it this way. It's like, and I come from the world of investing, but think about like stocks, right? So you're going to buy um, this dot com that just started up, right? $10 a share. And you're like, man, this stock's going to be worth so much money in the future. And that's what you want to buy. You want to prospect and buy that stock. Whereas I might say, no, I'm going to just buy Apple because I know Apple will just, there's already value in Apple and I'll have that it will continue to have value. Not really prospecting. Apple's already Apple. Bad example because I would never buy Apple, but you get the point. And for me, back in the day when I was a broker, the blue chips, the big company stocks have really flipped because when I started, it was GE and Ford and
IBM.
IBM and Microsoft. Was probably the most techie company, that you would buy. You were buying, companies that would pay dividends and like all this stuff. And now those companies are totally to the wayside. I mean, you can still buy Ford stock and stuff like that, of course, but now your blue chip or your, everyday investor type stocks are more the Google and the Apple and things like that, because those are solidified. They're not really going to go anywhere. At least not today. You should have plenty of time to make some money on those investments before they're maybe replaced by something else. But yeah, I don't have a problem with Jeff Wilson's show. I think any of those shows that bring some new attention to the hobby, if it gets kids excited for the hobby, as long as it's not pushing them to just throw all their money at risky cards, which a lot of the channels were, and I'm not referring to Jeff Wilson's channel. I don't think his, was ever really about that. But there were a lot of channels that were like, just buy this and then grade it and flip it and you make all this money and you're going to retire at 28. That's the kind of thing I was trying to combat because I thought that was a really poor message. Most of those channels are gone. I would say a good 90% of them at this point. So, all right, Philip is here. What's up? What's up, Philip? Thanks for joining us tonight. Happy to have you here. The Ball Boys were their own brand, though. That
That's
might be
true.
true. I don't know how many
Big
people
Baller
bought into the.
brand or something like that.
Yeah, that did very well, I'm guessing, except not. Um, yeah, and that was mostly their dad. Like their dad was pushing all that stuff. Yeah, but again, I agree. Like if there's a market for those guys, somebody wants to sign them and give them money, great. Take your money. You got to take your money when you can get it. It's um, company wants to invest in you. I don't have a problem with that. I don't like them starting to go after 15 years old, 16 years old. I think those kids need to do school and be minors and focus on that stuff. If you're good at a sport at 15 and somebody wants to give you millions of dollars, you should be good at 18 and they should want to give you millions of dollars. So that's my personal opinion on that. I mean, if the law says they can do it and they do it, whatever. It's no skin off my teeth. But as a parent and trying to protect my child, I want her to get through as much of her um, adolescence without these influences pushing her to grow up faster as possible. That includes, you know, friends and other influences and parties and like all that stuff is on there. And that would be including companies coming after her for her talents to try to, buy her out right away. Those kids aren't ready for those kinds of decisions.
Definitely not.
I agree with you, Andrew. What did he say? Oh, that was about the comments about the channels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something that, and I always want anybody to call us out if they feel like we're not doing something on the up and up. Um, but that was always kind of my point in doing the channel. It's one of the reasons I wanted to partner with Charlie. I know Charlie's a good straight up dude, and he wasn't going to steer any of our viewers the wrong way or anybody in the Discord the wrong way. He was going to give honest answers and share his experiences, and we could really be a team with it. Um, that's what you need. I don't think there's enough of that. I think when something starts getting bigger and it blows up, you get all this badness that shows up right away. But guess what happens to it? It's gone as soon
Yeah.
as everybody sees through it, and um, there isn't anything there for them anymore. I think they move on, and then you're kind of left with us, good or bad. But we don't plan on going anywhere. We like what we do. We appreciate all of you, and we're gonna keep doing it the way we do it. Max says, I think Jeff Wilson definitely turned around. He was a net negative for a while, but him, Card Collector 2, and a few others I like because they educate and tell you how it is. There are others that are bankrolled by others. Oops, clicked on it wrong there. Or who use plastic that appear to make tons but make a small percentage. Think 25, 50 on a 1K layout. Yeah, I agree with you. I think those two are like legitimate businessmen. Um, at this point, especially in cards, they have enough of their own stuff in it that they take it seriously and they're not gonna play games with it because their own livelihood would be at stake. I've always liked Card Collector too. I always thought he was a pretty straight up honest dude. Um, he was one of the first bigger um channels to kind of talk about, you know, well, just buy value, buy value, buy value. You don't have to get the next best thing. And that was what I was trying to really stress because and you're right. I think in your earlier comment here where you say, I think Jeff turned around and that's kind of how I would put it too. Cause I think when he first came out, he was like investment and buy this new rookie for the future. And like that, buy Will Greer, right? He was the one coming out saying that stuff. And I think he
It's true.
realized like, I think he realized like, ooh, maybe I have. Now, you have to remember, you have to give these guys some due too. When you start your first channel and you make a video and 8 people watch it, you think, well, whatever I say, I can tell people to go buy Will Greer cards. It won't matter. But 5 years later, when you have 100,000 viewers and people are watching that video and resharing it, now it looks like a bad move on your part. So you kind of have to let history be history to some degree too. Um, I think he learned from a lot of that, and he used to do this thing, the top 5 cards to invest in. I know he does the top 5 cards that are going up, which is just
Yeah.
data. What he used to do, because he used to have a sister on the show and stuff, and his channel's really evolved over time. But he used to do the 5 cards that are the best ones to buy to go up, and he took a lot of flack for that, especially when the cards didn't go up, Will Greer
Yeah.
type stuff. And he realized in a hurry, I cannot put this on here because no matter what, it's gonna look like I'm telling people to go buy these cards.
Yeah.
Um, you also have a potential legal issue if you do that. Um, so he kind of turned it around and now he just has like, oh, these are the 5 cards that went up this week. Well, he's just sharing, just kind of like Charlie, right? With the liquidity list. You're simply saying, this is the data. This is how many cards sold. This is the top player that sold. Like that's real things. That's nothing
Right.
that you're not telling anybody go buy this card. And Jeff kind of was doing that at the beginning. So he definitely changed from that and kind of made it more about a hobby and stuff than like the investor, angle to it.
And now he even shops in dollar boxes.
Yeah, stay out of our dollar boxes, okay? You gotta at least let that go. uh Nak Nake Nikolai Collectibles. Am I saying that right? I don't know. Um
Not
is
even
here.
close.
I know, probably not. I think this is your first time on the show, so welcome. Good evening, fellas. The Tops All-Star game set have tried scanning those into Card Dealer Pro. Yeah, we kind of talked about that. I talked to Charlie about that early on. I'm like, "Do you know if those are in there?" And he's like, "You're not gonna like it." And I did try one, and it's terrible. So, if for those of you who don't know, let me see. I should have one over here. Let me grab one of these. I'm gonna show you the card because if you don't know what we're talking about, it's kind of hard to understand it. But this is what the card looks like, and it's not just like a gold foil or whatever. It says ASG all over
There
it.
it
Can you
is.
kinda see that?
Yeah.
You can see it says ASG all over this thing, all over the photo, all over the border. It's got, like, kind of a rainbow refractor effect to it, you can kinda see that there where so it does not look good when you scan it because all the ASGs show up on it, so it just looks like a picture with, like, ASG written all over it, almost like a watermark. It almost looks like a watermark.
Yes. That's a good explanation.
Yeah, and, I didn't want that. That's not good when you're trying to get sales, especially for something that is fairly common that other people are selling. They're not, like, low numbered or anything like that. Um, but I also have the time and the focus, and my business is doing this, so I could, sit down and do that and punch them out. But I had 3 sets initially. I basically took 1 set, got it all sorted by number. That was the most annoying thing. I opened it, I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me. They don't put these in number order? What the hell?" Um, so that was the first thing I did. I just put them all in number order in the box, and then I just started, grabbing them one by one and just photoing them, listing them. and I just listed all 3 copies for all 3 sets at one time, and a lot of them I had people come in and just buy all 3 copies, which was kinda nice and kinda not, because now I had these other 2 sets that weren't sorted yet. So I'm like, "Oh, crap, now I gotta find the cards." Um, so that's kinda how I did it. It allowed me to get it done a little bit quicker, and I really only had to focus on 1, box set. But I don't know that I would do this if you only found 1 set. It's gonna be a lot of work to sell 1 copy of each card. Um, your returns diminish when you have to do all the work,
Right.
versus basically 2 sets. It took me, like, maybe a half hour to sort the whole set, but that was it. I didn't have to do any photography, I didn't have to do any listing, nothing like that. So those other 2 sets really didn't take me any time. It was just that initial set that kinda took forever. So it's actually more than 700 cards because it's 700 cards.
It's like 740 plus the variations.
It's 700 plus the 4 rookies, the 3 Jacksons and the Wyatt, and then the 5 photo variation cards. So the Otani and the Trout and the Acuna and those 5 cards that come in the little cellophane pack on the top of the set.
Yeah.
So it's 709 cards that you have to photograph to put on there. Now, if you're like, well, I don't have that kind of time, scanner it is, go for it. If you get sales that way, that's fine. Um, I knew there were other listings out there. I wanted mine to stand out and look nice, so I did the photography, and I'm really glad I did. I sold a ton of those cards so far. So to me, it was worth it. And once it's done, it's done. Now they're there, and I just get offers and sales and whatever, and they just move on their own. Lions Fan 9, awesome. Thanks for answering that. Been watching for a bit and have commented a couple of times and have learned a ton about this whole thing since following. That's awesome. I'm happy that you're here and we're able to provide some information. Like I said, just a reminder again, if you're not on the Discord, get on the Discord because Charlie and I get on there quite a bit and share some of our knowledge and experience and Charlie's gifts. Um, and but we have a lot of you on there too, a lot of other, people who come up with different things. I've learned a lot from all of you.
Yeah.
I got my latest supply of labels from UPS. So I found that. I found I've the bagging system. We learned how,
Yeah.
that was a good way to do inventory stuff. Actually through this chat that wasn't on Discord, but those all-star game sets we just talked about, that was a tip from somebody on our Discord group, and I started kind of made me intrigued because I love entire parallel sets. I buy the Fanatics exclusive like Fireburst sets and stuff like that for football, and I've done really well with them. And so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna look into that, and yeah, they were for me. And then I was fortunate enough to find some. So it's a great place to get a lot of that information. And then above and beyond that, we talk a lot about struggles with shipping and rule changing and postage increases and feedback stuff and bad actors on eBay. There's a lot of that stuff that we can kind of go through on there. I'm happy to do this every week on here too. But sometimes just a once a week thing doesn't really give you everything you need to stay up on it. So but go in there, get some knowledge out of that group and then contribute to it. The community works best when everybody's kind of trying to do something for each other. Don't give away all your secrets like buying full art My Little Ponies cards that sell for $65 because someone's going to burn you on that eventually and take your ponies cards away from you.
Hey, you got all the
Um,
goonies.
yeah, and actually, to be fair, I was in those boxes before you, and I didn't get the ponies, so that was a box
And
I
I
didn't
left
do.
some
So that was
for
my
you.
own
I
fault.
left you all the base.
You did, yeah. Oh no, you saw the ones that I listed. There's really
Oh
good.
yeah,
There
there
was
were a
really good
few other
stuff
ones.
in there.
Yeah.
That is a little stack like this, and it was like $350 worth of ponies cards.
Yeah.
Keith is here. He says, "What's up, fellas? How's it going?" Notice everyone's smart enough to not call us gentlemen anymore. I love
Yep.
that.
We made that clear at the start.
We did. We sure did. I wish more influencers would preach collecting and buying what you like, not immediately focusing on the money and making it a business. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like collector channels out there. They just don't get as much buzz because making money is such an attractive thing in content. Um, and eBay rewards you more for that kind of content too, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, I mean, I literally run a business selling cards just like you do, Max. So my channel, that's what my channel needs to be about. So I'm not the content creator for, and I do show, stuff that I have for my PC. Heck, I showed you this one that the figure that I bought for the exclusive Atom Bomb card. That's stuff where it's the collecting aspect for me. But yeah, I think there's plenty of them out there. They just don't get as much grab because everybody wants to watch the videos of how do you make money selling cards. That's the top content.
That's true. Although I will say, like, do you do you care to venture a guess which video I've done on my channel that has the most views? This might be tough for you because I know you don't watch my stuff.
No, I don't have that kind of time. Your videos are so long. Um,
But I will tell you, it is
Box
not
break?
anything, huh?
Was it a box break?
Sort of. It was not a liquidity list. It was not a pickups video. I mean, sort of a pickups video. It was something I picked up in a private sale, but it was my
Oh,
video
those
called the Vin-
1975 cards?
yeah, the Vintage
Yeah.
Explorer 1976 SSPC baseball, where I went through the entire box I picked up, which was every card except for like the 8 that were missing from the set when I picked it up. That part of it is that's an evergreen topic, right? But I think there's a lot of interest in just that collecting phase too. Oh, well, there's a cool old vintage set. Let's learn a little bit more about that. I know I personally watch a lot of YouTube content about like, 1980 score. And that, well, that was a bad example because I don't think that was a good year for that, but different sets and how they got started and what their iconic cards are and things like that. It's for me, I think that stuff is out there because they don't, sometimes they'll mention the money, but that's not the focus of the video, right? It's really about who were the key players that year and what did that set do differently that nobody else did before. And I find that stuff cool. So there are a lot of creators out there like that. And I would tell you that once I retire and I have more time for that, I would imagine I'll do more things like that as well.
Yeah, I think that I think I agree with Charlie that those creators are out there. I just think they're not as they don't have 100,000 followers. They're just subscribers. They just won't because there isn't enough wide enough attention to it. Um, I've watched a lot of videos where like I'm a Kobe Bryant collector. Here's my whole Kobe Bryant collection. I like watching stuff like that. But that channel has like 25 subscribers and like 50 people watch the video. It is you're just not going to be exposed to a lot of it.
Right.
Because if you don't care about Kobe Bryant cards, why the hell would you watch it? So um, yeah, and I think we'll see more of that as more people get into it as just a straight hobby and not a flip game and that kind of thing. But I got to tell you, like, and I was just at the Green Bay show this past. Well, so were you, Max? This past weekend, and almost all these kids I run into, they are in it for the flip game. That is the
Yeah.
primary reason they're doing it. I got a couple kids I talked to that, oh, I PC this guy or I collect this guy or I like Packers or whatever. But most of them are, oh, I'm doing a trade up challenge or hey, I've got this card. Can you sell it to me for this, much because I need to sell that card then to buy this card. Those kids are working those days. They got their little Zion cases and they're, walking around working the tables at our own show, at the goat show. We saw a ton of that. Um, then it ended up being a little bit more of a higher end sale card show, which was kind of not what I was expecting. That just seems to be kind of how it is now.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's actually a good point. When we were kind of talking before the show here today, one of the thoughts that crossed my mind, we didn't get into it, but I found myself wondering, are set collectors going to fade away? Or will there always be a big segment of set collectors? Because you're right. The young kids these days, I don't see kids going around saying, "Hey, I need 5 more cards to complete this set," with their little checklist and everything. The people I see doing that are more our age, you know.
well,
Um,
I think what's replaced set collecting is people collect a certain theme, which
okay,
you'll see a lot of. Like, okay, like the spellbound cards. Well, I want the whole name to put, on my, and I'm not talking about little, young kids because they're not gonna have a desk to put it on or anything. But I see a lot of people with collecting rainbows. I see a lot of people collecting, certain types of autos or, jersey number cards or
or a
I think
rainbow.
yeah, exactly. So I think it's more I think people are collecting sets. It's just not card number 1 through 500.
It's more like
Um
subsets.
yeah, because that's more exciting. Who wants to collect an entire base set? In 1982, if you wanted to collect a set, you just had to get one of every card. Like there was nothing
Yeah.
to chase. There was nothing to chase. Your only chase in cards up to like 1988 was a set. That was it.
Mhm.
Maybe a team set. You could have some team collectors, back then, which I do believe are still around now. But I think most of the time that was it. Like if you were into baseball cards and it's 1987, what are you going to do? What's going to be your hobby goal for the year? Collect a set. What the hell
Yeah.
else is there? You can't collect all 15 versions of, Nolan Ryan, and try to chase that one of one, get something good to try to chase trade for the one on one Nolan Ryan. There wasn't one.
Right.
So I think that type of collecting is still there. It's different. But you're right. I those kids, they're most of them are not looking at it that way. They're looking at it
Right.
as the shoe game, right? It's the modern shoe game, sneaker game. Let's see. Oops, I'm skipping around here. Hold on. Hold on. My computer froze.
You're out
Oh,
of
here we go.
control.
Uh, I wish more money making in business. Okay, we did that. Fang. What is Fang?
Double A.
Fang actually, but the N is okay, got it. Uh Picked up a multi-sport lot that included NASCAR and F1. Anyone know if Car Dealer Pro does F1? I believe
They
they do.
do. Yep.
All the racing sports stuff they do. The licensed racing sports.
Yeah, I've done some F1 and Car Dealer Pro all the way back to like 1990, 1991 Pro Tracks. So they've got pretty good selection in there.
Yeah, I don't really do a lot of it myself. I kind of dabbled in it when it became a thing and it looked like it was going to have a lot of growth and it's really fizzled quite a bit. So I don't really chase a lot of F1. I'll do a little bit of NASCAR, but I kind of stick to my big name '90s guys that I know. That definitely still have a market. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt and that kind of stuff has been my focus. But yeah, I can't imagine Car Dealer Pro wouldn't have that in there. Wow, you brought me back to the days as a specialist broker on the New York Stock Exchange. Good to see you value cards like stocks, as that is how I think when buying for my store and PC. I think, when you have an education and a training background, heck, a licensing background. I remember taking the 7-hour Series 7 exam um, to get my broker license. That was an insane process. It's like a bar exam for law, if you wanted to try to compare it to anything. But yeah, I think you kind of have to, right? There's real money that goes into cards. It's,
Yeah.
especially like if you're gonna try to run it as a business, you have to have an idea of what you're going to get for this thing. So, um, I think it just makes sense. And I still believe a lot of people, even if they're looking at the money side of it, I think a lot of them are doing it just because they use the money then to support their PC. So instead of going out and trying to buy, your bigger cards for your collection, your $200-300 cards, you're going, okay, well, can I take some of these $10 cards and sell them and get some money so that it's not out of pocket to buy this $200 card. So I still think you're seeing a lot of that too. I cringe. I hate this word. When people use the I word when talking about buying cards, I think he means investing. Um, I kind of get on the fence about it because I think to just do it as an investment is, first of all, it's not the best investment. There's other,
Right.
as somebody who did that for a living, if you really look at the prospectus of it, like you would if a stock or a mutual fund, it's not
It's
the
not
greatest
good.
plan. Yeah, there's too many that aren't going to be winners. Um, but that being said, anything you put your extra money into is an investment, like it or not. If you buy a boat tomorrow, you that's an investment. Eventually, you're going to want to get something out of that boat. Now, kind of a bad example because it's probably going to be a loss because it's a depreciative asset. But if you're let's say you're buying a painting, right? Let's say you buy this painting for $5,000 and you're going to hang it in your living room. That's still an investment, right? It's an okay, let's say you're putting an addition on your house. That's an investment in your home, right? So you're going to use that addition on your home to, for a bedroom or a living space or whatever your purpose behind it is, but it's still an investment. So just because you're buying things you like or things you enjoy or whatever doesn't necessarily mean it's not an investment. It can be both, I guess what I'm trying to say. Right, Charlie?
That is correct.
All right, let's see how much battery I got left here. 25%. We're doing pretty good tonight.
Oh, wow.
No, you guys don't fit into that. You guys talk about collecting all the time and you actually collect stuff too. That is correct. We do. I kind of feel like if you're going to be in a business, you better also be a customer. I think that's the best
It
person that runs a
helps.
business. So yeah, and I guess it depends a little bit on what you're selling. If I was selling women's feminine products, it'd be pretty hard for me to be a customer. But if I understand cards because I collect them, I've loved them, my whole life and bought and sold them and understand what looks good and what doesn't and what brands, bring the buyers and how fast you need to sell something and, all those little nuance type things. I think if you're not in the hobby and you're just trying to make money off the hobby, it's going to be pretty tough because there's so much in it. Joe says, "Do you guys know if you can find the original date a card was listed even after ending it and sell similar? I called eBay and they couldn't find how to do it." No.
But we have a
Once
workaround.
Yeah. Well, but once you right, that's why we use the dates on the bags,
That's right.
on the SKUs. But but yeah, I learned that early on because I was doing a lot of end listing sell similar. I don't do that as much anymore because I have so many listings. I don't need to. The sales just happen. I don't have to do anything really to get extra. Um, but yeah, once you end that listing and you sell similar, it's a whole new listing. So any of that data that you had from that is gone. Now, if you ended it and sold similar and you never deleted it from your listing history, you it might be in there,
It's true.
in your unsold listings or whatever. But those pile up pretty quick. If you're going to do a lot of end listings, sell similar, it's going to get even harder for you to dig. And let's say you end it again. So let's say every 30 days you're trying to relist all your inventory. I mean, every 30 days you're gonna have a whole new listing for that item. It's gonna get impossible after a while. If you have like 20 listings, you can kind of manage anything. I have what 51,300 or something now. Like, no, I'm not chasing down a listing for that. Just sold a Ken Griffey Jr. card.
Nice.
All right.
It
Set
still
collectors are
sells.
basically, yeah. Set collectors are basically gone already. The only set collectors I see are Medicare recipients sitting down at binders. Um, I still collect sets when I get time, but I don't get much lately. No, most of my collectors, my customers that are collectors, they're looking for specific inserts or parallels, a specific player, a specific team. Um, that's basically it. I don't get a lot of people that are looking for like you said, a set. Team collectors. I run into more team collectors than anything else. To me, that's like the modern set collector. You know, you like your little brewer squad there. I had somebody come in and buy an entire ASG team set of the Brewers. You know, some random pitcher and some random catcher and some random outfielder I never heard of. You know, those were all in there along with Jackson Churio and Christian Yelich and the names that you know. So if you're trying to sell the more obscure name players, it you're gonna probably need to find some team collectors. Max says Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, the only place to invest anymore. Yeah, if you want the blue chip. Now, if you're looking for the next Google, you probably don't want to buy Google. That's the catch. So it depends on on how much you want to do the prospecting. I don't want to get. I'm getting close to giving financial advice here, and I don't want to be that guy. Um, but yeah, that to me, that's your blue chip market now. Versus, like I said, when I started out, it was crazy because it was totally different. It was railroads and um, GE and Ford and Panasonic and let's see, what were some of the other ones? Especially ones that paid dividends because you didn't have to care as much about the performance of the stock. They just paid you money every year for being a shareholder. And that's not really even a thing anymore. Dude, Series 7 was not easy. Stop it. Most people fail it the first time. I did not. I passed on my first one time. I also passed the title agent exam the first time, and most people don't pass that either. So pretty proud of that. I'm a good test taker. Disagree on the definition of investment. That's fine. I think it's not as clear cut because I think what might be an investment to one person might not be to another. So I can see people disagreeing with it. Let's see. QQQ and S&P 500 and leave it alone. Rest goes into sealed Pokemon product. There you go.
In
Yeah.
the closet.
Seeing that's an investment. Right. Oh, Max, I was gonna tell you too. I don't know if you saw the latest Chasing Cardboard episode, but they got this guy who was buying like storage units and he found like $200,000 worth of sealed Pokemon product.
Nice.
Um, he tried to make tried to make a buy on it, but didn't get it to go through. But I thought that would be an episode you'd be interested in. I look at some of that Pokemon product and I don't really know it. So to me, like one Pokemon box looks just like another Pokemon box, and obviously that's not true. So anyway, you might want to. I don't know if you watch that channel at all, but I like that channel. They decent production value, and they drive around try to buy collections and stuff. It's all right here and there. Let's see, 96 on that, 94 on the insurance exam, 66 or whatever. Yeah, that's the Sky Laws exam, which you need to take if you're going to sell like um, annuities and stuff like that. because that's an insurance product, or at least it used to be. I don't know if they've changed it now. I haven't done any of this stuff in a while. Um, but yeah, the insurance exam's super easy. That's like 20-minute exam. You take it locally. It was easy. The Series 7 that's the big one. That's where you're covering all the investment laws, SEC regulations, and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure we're boring the hell out of the entire audience that doesn't give a crap about
I almost fell
invest
asleep for a minute.
investment licensing. Max went to school for personal finance. Yeah, I kind of assumed that based on what you're doing. Joe says it's now an investment club. Well, wasn't it always? Now you just realize there's some actual people with some training, knowledge, experience, and past licenses in those types of areas. Let's see. I don't want. Oh, Max does not watch Chasing Cardboard. Can't stand it. But I'll take a look. Okay. I just thought because it was old sealed Pokemon product. You don't see that very often. I very rarely see any of that stuff pop up in videos. So I thought you might think it was cool. Phil says, so using the scanner and using penny sleeves when scanning, why does a penny sleeve wrinkle? I do not use anything with my cards. I put them in raw, get a good quality scanner that isn't going to cut up your cards. And I just run everything right through the scanner raw. I don't use sleeves.
Yeah, I choose to run them through raw as well. However, I understand that the issue you're having requires you to remove for our scanner, it would be the top rollers you have to take out if you're going to put the
Yep.
cards through with anything around them. Because the rollers grab it and pinch it as it's pulling it through. And I have tried to put some through with the penny sleeves. I did not take out the rollers, and I got exactly what you're talking about. So I do believe that's how you do it. And they're usually pretty easy to take out if you want to try it.
The other thing I do, just a heads up, is I really watch the thickness of the cards that I put in the scanner, and I've been doing this a long time. I've probably scanned 20,000, 30,000 cards in at this point, or maybe even more. So I've really got an understanding of like how thick I can go before it's going to be a problem in the scanner. And I'm not talking sleeved, I'm talking raw. So try to watch that too, because if you're using a little bit of a thicker card and then you sleeve it besides, it's really going to get crunched in there.
Yeah. I
So,
always
and
find it amusing.
I don't do die cuts. I don't do, certain acetate cards where it's like raised or embossed. Um, I don't do like action packed cards. There's a lot of cards I don't run through the scanner. I just don't like the potential risk. Not that I'm selling, super high end stuff, but so there's plenty of stuff that I just photograph and don't scan. That's basically the decision I came to early on when we got the scanner was I'm not going to do shiny, I'm not going to do die cuts. You just don't get the results.
I always find it entertaining. Once you do it for a while, you realize just by listening to the cards going through, you can tell when it's a
Yeah.
thicker card.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
yeah.
it makes a different
Um
sound, and then when it hits the card
yeah.
bin too,
Yeah,
it's a deeper thud.
yeah. For me too, it slows it down because
Yeah,
I do a lower DPI I think than
you
you do.
do.
I
Yeah,
do a 600 and mine is really fast. And I'll get that and then I'll get a
yeah,
so I can tell like, oh, that one was a little bit thicker. But it doesn't have to all be, Halloween thick cards. You can put stuff in that's a tad thicker, but you have to watch. It's only going to grab so much. Um, unless like Charlie said, you remove rollers or you change, grabbing thickness on the scanner or whatever. If you have a lower end scanner, we can't really help you. Or I shouldn't even say lower end, but if you're not using the Rico like we're using, we're sharing our experience with that scanner. So if you have a different scanner, you might have a different experience, and you just literally have to sit down and play with it until you get what you need out of it. But yeah, crinkled up sleeves is not really going to benefit you. You obviously don't want that in a scan. Max says guy rubs me the wrong way, and I hate stuff that is more like a TV show. It feels set up. Yeah, he definitely has a um, higher production value. I don't particularly care for the guy either. I was referring more to the content in this episode, but I get where you're coming from. Any input on the Fujitsu 7030? Well, they don't make anything anymore. So I'm guessing you're saying the Ricoh, or is this an older scanner?
It's the same. It's the same. The the org name just changed.
Right. So the
Yeah.
Ricoh 7030, we use the Ricoh 8170, right? It's 8170.
Yeah. 70. Now you got me
Yeah.
confused. 7180?
The FI 8170 is what we're
8170.
using.
There we go.
I'm looking at it right now. So no, we don't use the 7030. I'm sure it's a generally your models, the higher the number goes up, generally is the better model. Um, so I would think a 7030 is a decent model, and you should be able to get what you need to do um,
And the
with it.
difference is typically the speed and the options of what you can feed in.
Mhm.
Like the 8170 is the fastest one. It can take card top loaders, it can take sleeves. And then when we were looking at them, the lower models usually cut back on speed and different variations you could feed into it.
There you go. That was a question for the tech guy, Charlie.
I don't know how I got this
So
tech guy moniker.
I don't either, because I've helped a lot of tech too, but they always say Charlie the tech guy. What do you know about this? That's why I joke about it. It's just for fun. But yeah, when we talked, early on about doing a scanner, I had brought it up once, and we weren't ready for it. And then Charlie was getting closer to um, seeing it as a viable option, and then it just made sense. We decided we were going to go with the one that Car Dealer Pro suggested, the one that other people were using on a higher scale, on a lot of scans a month kind of thing. And we just went with the one that we knew was going to work for us out of the box. And we've had very, 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 and I shouldn't, I'm not even going to say it. Um, we've had
Don't
a
jinx
great
it.
experience. We've had a great experience. And um, so some of those issues that, we've heard from a lot of other users with different scanners and things like that, we don't, that hasn't happened. So, um, something to consider. A lot of times, especially with, as you guys know, with tech and hardware and stuff like that, you kind of get what you pay for. So, um, if that's what you can afford, and it's going to be a good scanner for you, then go for it. If you feel like, well, I could wait a little bit longer and get the 8170, that would be my suggestion. I think that's you're going to get their best product if you buy that one. There might even be another one out now. Um, one that's even faster or does more fancy things. I don't know. So haven't looked into it in a while. Ours we haven't had ours that long. I don't think we're in the market for another one.
Yeah, we haven't
Um,
even made it a year with it yet, right?
I know it's crazy, right? Um, but I did have an interesting experience with Car Dealer Pro today. Kind of pointed it out in the Discord, but I was in the middle of a batch, and I was running through some of the processing steps, and all of a sudden I get your account's been deactivated. I'm like, what? And I'm like, "What the hell?" So I go back, well, my batches are still there, and I'm like, "Well, how can you deactivate my account, but I can still see the batch?"
Yeah.
It has, like, your history batches, the ones you did
Mm-hmm.
previously. I'm like, "That can't be." So I'm like, it might have just been glitch in the matrix type thing, and, like, I'll go back to it and work on it. So I go back into that batch, nope, account's been deactivated. I'm like, "This is not good." So I'm looking at my, like, dashboard area, where you can, like, expand the menu out. I'm looking at
Yeah.
that, I'm like, all my stuff looks fine right there. It shows my little A in the top corner that I'm logged in and everything. I'm like, "You know what? I'm just gonna log out and log back in."
Yeah.
So I did, I logged out, I logged back in, and lo and behold, my scans were all reset, like my monthly allotment. You know how it tells you,
Yeah.
like, how many you've done?
Yeah.
So, I'm like, "Well, what the hell? Are they gonna charge me again or whatever?" Well, this is my normal day of, um,
Your account or
renewal,
monthly
let's say
reset.
renewal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I must have been in there working on a batch when they were, like, zapping me to reset my accounts and charge me, of course. I got the notification, a
Yeah.
couple hours ago that they charged me for this month's scans. But it was like, "Oh, no, they deactivated my account. What am I gonna do?" It's like it's funny how dependent you become on something, and as soon as you get a
Yeah.
hiccup in it, you're like, "Oh my god, all is lost, and I can't run my business."
Yeah.
Just
When
talk
6, 8
just talk
months
about
ago, we didn't ever use one. So,
Right, exactly. Now, could I still do it without it? Yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
but it's been a great blessing to have it for sure. Um, and I really like the banner logo it puts on the bottom. It's nice and professional, and, um it's nice to have a few boxes of cards because I always have so much stuff still to list. It's always nice to have just a couple of boxes of cards that are set aside that can just rip through the scanner, and go really quick, versus all right, got to sit down with these stacks and do these one by one. So, because I list all mine as I'm doing the photos. I know Charlie will do like scan a bunch of stuff and then list them later, or take photos and list them later. I don't do that. So I sort out my time based on if I'm gonna take the photos and do it and list them one by one, or if I'm gonna go through the scanner and do them on my laptop. Um, but yeah, the 8170 I think is the right piece of hardware, for what we want to do. Yeah, as far as the 7130, I would go talk to people that have it. Try to find or 7030, excuse me. Find out if it's any good. Get on some message boards, go on our Discord, post a message in the Discord. Hey, does anybody else have a 7030? How's it work? Or, um, if you're using Card Dealer Pro or whatever software you're going to use with it, talk to them. Say, hey, looking at this Fujitsu 7030, will this work well with your software? And they should be able to help you with that too. I think that would be your best course before you just buy it. All right, Max says once they make it where it can scan shiny stuff more efficiently, it will likely hop on the train. I've considered it just for Pokemon already, but I have a ton of sports stuff I would love to send. It's getting past my bedtime.
Uh-oh.
Um, yeah, I was thinking about that for you, Max. That a scanner would actually be perfect because you can scan pretty much any Pokemon card. Um, maybe like some reverse hollows, some of that stuff, maybe full art foil stuff, won't do very well with it, but a lot of, almost all the basic Pokemon stuff you'd be able to
Yeah.
scan. Um, and that might be an advantage for you because I know you buy like big bulk, like 100,000 cards at a time. Might help you run through some of that quicker. I don't know how much you do online, but let's see, older, just can get one for cheap.
Talking about
Yeah,
the
I mean,
scanner. Yeah.
yeah, cheap can be good and cheap can be bad. Phil has the FITI 8170. Yeah, that's what we use as well. Um, and I have taken the roller out, and you're still getting. So this is the person that's getting the crinkles with the sleeves. Um, yeah, I never sleeve any of it. I just run it through. And honestly, I like that I do it raw because when I bag them, I just have my raw pack of cards in my bag and I throw them in my drawer. It takes up less space. They don't need to be, sleeved when they're nice and safe, in a bag in the drawer. And then when I get orders, I pull the card out, I sleeve it, get it in a nice new sleeve, um, card saver it, top load it, whatever I'm doing, and ship it out. So I prefer it to be raw anyway.
The other thing I think of, I think someone here recommended in the past. So normally when I've got my cards fed in, it kind of goes upside down and vertical like this, right?
Yep,
But
that's how
I
I do it.
think when you have it in the sleeves, you got to turn it horizontal. I recall somebody telling us that at one point. But
Yeah,
again,
you
like I
have
said, I don't do it myself, so I'm kind of going off of memory here.
to do that too with top loads. They have to be
Yeah,
sideways. So that's a good point. I guess I hadn't thought about feeding, but yeah, if you maybe you're feeding them up and down, and they won't work that way either. You have to do them sideways. And then I think you have to turn all the photos too, don't you? When you go to list, because they're
I
going to be sideways in the scan.
yeah, there might have been a setting in the software though that auto does that for you. I don't recall.
Okay. Because when we put them in upside down like that, they all just show right side up right when they
They do,
scan in.
yeah.
You don't have to do anything with it, which I like that part too. I just feel like scanning it in a sleeve, even if it goes through and it doesn't wrinkle, it could potentially miss some of the detail on the edges. You could catch a little bit of a light refraction. Um, if there's any kind of, um, you know, not good part of the sleeve, like let's say there's a little dent in a sleeve or a scratch in a sleeve, that's going to show up when you scan it and it's going to look like it's on the card. So to me, the whole point of scanning is to give the best image of the actual card. Uh, and I truly believe the best way to do that is to not have it be in any plastic. I do the same thing when I photograph my cards. So I'll have a stack of, shiny stuff here, and some of it is will be on sleeve, some will be sleeve, but I will take this Topps Chrome Randy Moss card, I take it out of the sleeve, place it down, take my photo front, my photo back, and then since it was already in a sleeve, I'll just throw it back in the sleeve and put it in the bag. But I don't photo anything in top loads or sleeves or anything like that. So my all my pictures are fairly consistent with the scanner because everything is raw. Obviously, if it's PSA graded or it's encased or something like that, obviously then it's in the plastic. But um, and any card not in that situation gets filmed raw.
I guess the last thing I would tell you on that, Philip, is um, Card Dealer Pro on their channel has some great videos on how to scan in different ways with that equipment. So it might be worth checking out their content because I know that's where I went when we first got it to start seeing those different options. And a lot of what I told you here tonight, I believe I got from some of those videos. So if you haven't checked those out already, it is a pretty good resource because Car Dealer Pro talks to people like us and really caters to how we do things. So they're not just a listing tool, they actually partner with Rico and they chose these scanners and then did videos on exactly how to do it all. So I would definitely check that out.
Yeah, and Charlie's right. That's where I saw the videos for like scanning top loaded cards and stuff like that, which um I don't have any videos out there of doing that. I don't think Charlie does because we don't do it that way. So Card Dealer Pro or wherever your listing software is would be your best spot. Um, to go and try to get some information on that. All right. This person says thanks, Charlie. Person whose name I cannot speak. Max says he does 100K a year on TCG player. Yeah. A little bit of online sales, but virtually zero card sales on eBay, mainly video game stuff. No time for much else. Well, that's where the scanner would be helpful. Max, are you selling low or a mix of high and mid? I think if you're doing any kind of bulk stuff, you're gonna have some low. I don't know if any car dealer has 0 low. You know what I mean? You're gonna have
Yeah.
some low end because there's a lot more low end than there is high end. Unless you're only buying cards single by single, you're gonna have some low end. If you rip anything, you're gonna have some low end. If you're buying a collection, you're gonna get some low end. Like it's just part of it, and you have to find some way to deal with it. Some, dealers that don't want to bother with it. They just sell it out super cheap or give it to somebody, or they have a deal with a low end seller that they just, um, have resell it to, kind of a thing. And then they do whatever they're doing with it. Well, they're doing what we're doing with it, basically. Um, so yeah. But anyway, Max can answer that question. TCG is all bulk. He says 99% of stuff in my store is sub $5. Yeah, I would say mine is too. I don't know how it wouldn't be. Unless, like I said, unless you're just transacting a few cards you know, at a time. But that's about it for me. I don't have anything outrageous going on this week. We're still ironing out some final details to get everything out for the January show, trying to get some floor plan stuff for the January card show, that is. I am going on Friday to meet with Nick from Cardboard Legacy, our sponsor, to go over some things for the next show, some ideas we have, some things we want to do in sponsorship, maybe expand sponsorships a bit. So we've got some good stuff in works for that. Uh, I don't have any card shows coming up, basically, um, that I plan to attend. I did this last one at KI. I did pick up some stuff there. Sold a lot of 10-cent cards. I actually consolidated an entire 5-row box. I gave it to Matt because he's like, I want my kid to pick up his cards off the floor. So I gave him the empty box. I'm like, here's an empty box. Tell him to fill it. Um, so yeah, I think I'm in a good spot that way. I'm just gonna try to keep getting stuff listed. I'm starting to run out of some drawer space. So I'm looking for another cabinet, um, to keep the growth going. So keeping an eye out for that. I don't know. That's about it. And you got anything going on?
No, I still got a summer project up north, so I'll be up there this weekend. No card shows for me. Got game film to watch right after the show tonight. I got a Wemby card to list now. I got orders to pack. So, and then it's back to the office tomorrow morning. So that'll come up quickly. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's about it for me.
Well, that sounds fine. Sounds like too much, but that's kind of your MO. That's where you're at. So,
Yeah.
um, Jordan says, Charlie, stop yawning.
I'm not yawning. That's that guy. Wait, this guy.
I
This
think
guy.
I think I think we're being confused. Max says everything sells better at shows. See, and I've had the opposite experience. I really just like listing the stuff, letting it sit there. People order it. I pull the cards and I ship them. But that's why there's something for everybody. The great part about this hobby and business is you can do it a trillion different ways. And you can sell penny cards and you can sell $12 million cards.
Yeah.
Um, you can collect penny cards. You can collect $12 million cards. So yeah, I think what you've got going, Max, is definitely working. So uh, keep it going that way. And there's a lot of dealers that it's like card shows, card shows, card shows.
Yeah.
That's how they do their business, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right. Matt, he's got the Madison show this weekend. That's right. It's Madison show. I forgot about that. So yeah, if anybody's looking for a show, Madison has a great show. Monthly, Bo does that one. 1 million Cubs. Go check that out if you haven't been there. I'm sourcing a ton on eBay and I'm trying to stay around the 30-cent threshold. After fees and the promotion of 5%, I'm barely making anything. Should I stay at the 30-cent threshold for low end? Okay, let's see. Around 30-cent threshold. 30 cent for your cost of buying? Um, I'm not quite sure what he means by this. Clarify it. I'm doing it pretty well, but I don't have a listing software or scanner, so it's all done manually. Oh yeah, we've been there. I think he's referring to
30
30
cent
cent.
margin
Oh, 30
after
30 cents
after
per
costs
card.
and fees.
Yeah, are you okay, after fees and the promotion of 5%, I'm barely making anything. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to up your prices. There isn't enough margin in there to for the sale. Let's see, I just meant 10-cent Pokemon doesn't sell at shows. I do both. Yeah, I could see selling, like, common Pokemon would be tough at a show. That makes sense to me because 'cause you're not really getting the players at a card show buying them, you're getting more of the collectors.
That's a good point.
Um, and I don't think they want, like, the characters and stuff. I mean, I'm guessing because 'cause I'm not a Pokemon dude, but my experience in the Pokemon stuff that I've done that has sold for me, I sold some Screech cards this weekend, by the way, so that was kinda fun.
Screech from
Uh,
Saved by the Bell.
yes, fellow Wisconsinite.
I sold a John Taffer card from Bar Rescue this morning.
I saw that, yeah. I've sold some Taffer cards too, they actually do okay. I pick up
Yeah,
every once in a while, I pick up a lot of, like, random celebrity type and
yeah.
weird sport type cards from, like, Allen and Ginter and
Goodwin
stuff like
champion.
that. Yeah, good win. And I've gotten a few cards of his before, and they've done okay. I mean, you don't make a ton of money on them, but they do sell,
No.
so alright. Well, I think that's gonna do it for us this week. My yawning is, disturbing others now, so it's time for me to go to bed. I'm also down to where am I at now? 6%
8%.
batteries.
Oh,
6%.
6%.
And as we learned, if it gets down to, like, 3%, it just totally gives up on me. Like, I thought you said I
Yeah,
had 3% battery, but it shuts down well
it
before
does.
0.
Yeah.
So we'll let everybody go. Thanks again so much, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you if you're watching this recorded. Um, thanks again for watching. Try to see if you can join us live. We're live every Wednesday, 8 Central
Central.
Standard Time. I've almost said 7, and I'm like, what am I
I
doing?
know. You're
8,
tired.
and even 8 isn't right. We're not even on here at 8 most of the time. 8 Central Standard Time every Wednesday. Myself, Charlie, the stew man's always with us too. So I was hiding in the background somewhere. Um, join the Discord. You got the link down below if you want to support the channel. Go to the Patreon. Patreon link is down below. Um, and let's see. Anything else? Anything you can think of that we missed out on?
No, all I got is peace out. Take care of each other.
Remember, you can't sell what you don't list. Get out there and list, people. See you next week.